Welcome to the Theater Pal, your Philly Neighborhood Mastercast, back with you once again, joined once again by my pal Aaron and my pal Tony, and we're talking the Scream franchise today. Scream 3, probably the most divisive entry in the franchise. I know where I lay. I honestly don't know where these guys lay when it comes to that movie. We haven't discussed it at all. I'm hoping we're of like minds, but who knows? Who knows? There's a lot of people. Well, I'm not going to tip my hat as to where I lay because you'll have to stick around for the review. Are we going to talk about Courtney Cox's bangs? Are we going to be talking about how amazing Parker Posey is? Probably. The year is 2000. The decade starts with Scream 3. Scream fans are excited. Scream fans rush to the theater. I went there opening day in the morning for the 11 o'clock showing. I couldn't wait. And I walked out distressed. I had talked myself into believing it was a good movie, but honestly, the more I watched it, the more I disliked it. By the end of that weekend, I'd come to realize that Scream 3 had gutted me. And not in the good way that the first one gutted Tony. It gutted me in the bad way. This is a very painful movie. I've never liked this movie. There's so many problems with it. We're going to touch on a few of them today. And please feel free to share yours in the comments down below. Tony, I'm going to turn it over to you real quick. Tell us about your first initial impressions of Scream 3.
I don't remember hating it, but it's definitely one that I haven't watched a lot of. In fact, I watched it for this just to refresh myself. And that was probably the third or fourth time I've ever seen it, because I always just go to the first two. And I honestly don't remember if I saw it in the theater. Like that's how memorable it was. In fact, it was kind of nice going back and rewatch these because it's been so long. I didn't remember who the killers were, or killer or whatever. But I even watch it now. I don't hate it.
There's a lot wrong with Scream 3. But, you know, anybody, you've heard online all the time, people talking about what's wrong with Scream 3. However, there are a couple of things that Scream 3 does better than Scream 2. One, the cameos and the supporting characters in Scream 3. Aside from Jay and Silent Bob, which of course makes no sense, because after all, they're watching Scream, and makes no, anyway, it makes no canonical sense. But every other person that's put in this film, we get to see more of them. We get to see more of these characters. We get to learn more about the people that are making Stab, the people behind the scenes, people that are acting in it. We get just enough of Jenny McCarthy that it's not going to grate on my nerves. That's good. And you know what? I'm going to say something. It's going to be slightly controversial here. It's a better motivation than Scream 2. It is hands down, at least this one, when I got to the end of it, did I know who the killer was? I'm going to be honest. Yes. I think a lot of people knew the killer was in Scream 3. But the thing is that the motivation at least makes sense. Like, it comes out of nowhere, but that's what the third part of a trilogy does. Randy posthumously breaks down how a trilogy works, and he's not wrong if you follow the rules of the whole trilogy aspect of it. So there are a lot of things that they get wrong. The pacing on this is off. The script, it's not by Kevin Williamson. It's very, very obvious that he has not done this, and so the people at times, and I'm sure Master Cash, you're gonna definitely agree with this. They seem more like they're reading a script as they are talking as their characters. Not all of it seems real. Oh my God, could a movie never play it more safe than this film did? And that's one of the biggest problems with this film. It plays it really, really safe across the board.
The motive, we'll talk about the motive in a minute. But for me, the biggest issue with the movie is that Sydney doesn't feel like a main character in this movie. She's a supporting actor in her own movie. And it was because apparently she didn't want to come back. And so she was only free for a certain amount of time. So I think they had her for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And it shows. She's mostly in this cabin. she shows up an hour into the movie. That's the first time she meets the entire cast. And then right there, that's the scene where she goes and she gets chased by the killer, and so she's all of a sudden part of the plot. Real briefly, for those of you, I'm assuming you've seen it, someone is targeting the cast of Stab 3. And it's all a big ploy to draw Sydney out of hiding so that our killer can finally kill Sydney. This movie also introduces that element, the Sydney seeing her mom's ghost and her having psychotic flashbacks and dreams. I didn't like that. I felt like that felt unrealistic. That felt like, I'm not sure if it was Craven's idea to add Nightmare on Elm Street type elements to it, but I felt that was a little unrealistic. Seeing how the franchise felt very, very realistic. And yes, I know people have, PTSD and things like that, but it just didn't play here very much. But overall, I mean, this is what Sydney does mostly in the movies: sit down and talk on the phone. And that's not interesting to me. She's our final girl. She should be crucial to the movie. What happens more with the movie is we follow the fucking new characters as they walk around and make the movie. So we've got the actors, we've got Dewey and Gale, Scooby doing it with Parker Posey. And while I love Parker Posey, she's the best thing in this movie. I don't feel it's a satisfying enough plot or adventure or even a satisfying sequel. And then we get to the motive and the reveal. We find out Sydney's brother, long lost secret brother that her mom had when she was, awful backstory, when she was raped in Hollywood, by Lance Henriksen and his buddies. I mean, that's awful. The secret brother that she never knew was always the secret third killer who, somehow seduced Billy and Stu into becoming killers and sort of inspired them to take revenge. I mean, that's a bit of a leap that one maniac can find another maniac that fits his plan and then gets him to do the killing. That's a stretch.
Isn't that the motive of part 2? This is one of Wes Craven's weakest films, and Wes Craven made The Hills Have Eyes Part 2. And a dog got a flashback. A freaking dog got a flashback. This is worse than that.
Not only that, I think Wes Craven's worst movie is Cursed. The werewolf one he made with Kevin Williamson. That was awful. Oh my God, what an atrocious movie on every level.
Yeah, we got Christina Ricci though.
What? So what? She's in other movies.
Yeah, and naked.
Well, she's not. Yeah, she's not naked.
No, in other movies. I mean,
yeah,
I don't know. I would say Hills Have Eyes 2 is definitely worse than anything else.
I begrudgingly accept it because it's part of the franchise, but like Tony said in the beginning, this is the one I've seen the least. And I've seen, 1, 2, and 4, the first one, at least 100 times. And 2 and 4 I've seen at least 30-ish times. This one I've seen the least. I just kind of skip over it because I have no interest in revisiting these sets of characters in this environment because it just doesn't deliver anything interesting. Even canon-wise, I still can't buy the brother thing. It just does not work for me. With that being said, let's talk about our favorite kills.
It's not a favorite kill. It's the most hilarious kill.
Okay.
And it's the explosion.
The one who smells the gas.
Yeah, that's it. It's like...
Again, the kills in here aren't great. They're very quick stabs, and then there's not a lot of blood. It's probably the least gory one of the entire franchise. But I think the one that I kind of cared about the most is the character who played Ricky. I don't remember his real character. I don't remember his real character's name, but he's the black guy who plays the new Randy on Stab 3. And he gets killed at the end, but it's just the way he dies. He goes, "Oh, you motherfucker!" And there's just something so funny about the way he delivers that line. And then he gets unceremoniously stabbed like everybody in this movie.
The one that affected me the most was Cotton Weary because I liked him, but I also liked seeing Jenny McCarthy get killed because I don't really like her. But I'd say probably the neatest kill was Ghostface getting killed by Dewey. We're just unloading on him and he's like, "In the head," and then they shoot him in the head. Like that. It's like I thought that was pretty cool. Like he's just like, "Come on," like yeah. So I'd say probably the Ghostface one. I like that one.
Nice, and that's the first time that all three of them were at the final reveal together and conscious.
Yeah.
Even though they were locked behind the door, they were still all there together. So that was cool. Aaron Kruger is he's made some amazing movies. He wrote one of my favorite thrillers of all time, Arlington Road, which is a great script, amazing script. But he's not great here. And I don't know if it was just, I don't know that we can 100% blame him. I know from what I understand of behind the scenes shenanigans, this was rushed. There was new pages every day. And, you do what you got to do. You can't really blame the writer because it's not up to us. At the end of the day, it's whatever happens on set happens. But he is a good writer. And so I don't blame him necessarily for this. I know he's credited on part 4 as well. And I think maybe he had more time with that one.
Well, the problem here is like this had a completely different ending. The script was completely different. If you watch the Kevin Bacon series, The Following, by the way, there you go. That's the original Scream 3.
Yeah.
And that's what was supposed to be Stu. That's the enigmatic like serial killer that gets a cult group to follow him. That's what part 3 was supposed to be. Unfortunately, Columbine happened, which again is a sad event. But Aaron Kruger was put into this place. Kevin Williamson couldn't stay to rewrite the script. Aaron Kruger was put into a position of like having to do something that 1, he wasn't familiar with, 2, was kind of pushed on him. So you do the best you can under those circumstances. They weren't the greatest circumstances.
Man, 2 stars. I'm gonna give it 2 stars, and that's super low. But it's, part of me is so angry. I want to give it no stars, but there's stuff I like. I like the cast. I like elements of it. I hate that Sydney's barely in it. And I don't buy the reveal, but there's elements I like. Princess Leia shows up, rest in peace.
Oh, that's right. That was actually I don't like that part because it's like takes you out of like that world. It's like, yeah, you're telling me like Star Wars exists and
right.
This woman looks exactly like Princess Leia or like Carrie Fisher.
Yeah,
it's like I don't know, like this Jane Silent Bob shit. Like I don't mean that stuff. That stuff don't need to be in there.
I agree. It definitely breaks, especially because like Clerks is in the first one. Like the VHS is one of the movies at the end of the party is on the VCR. So you just destroyed the universe. You can't. This is like Time Cop. They can't touch. But anyway,
the same matter can't exist in the same space.
Exactly. Okay, 2 stars for me, Aaron. What are you feeling for this one?
It's not a favorite. I'll be more generous than you because I think there are some good like parts to this film. I love the inclusion of Randy's sister, girl from Into the Dollhouse, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's a really big indie actress. She was, doing a lot of great stuff. It was really nice to see her. I thought she was well cast. I thought overall, pretty much everybody was well cast in this film. So I was good with that. I thought if you're going to have a killer at the end of it, and it can't be my killer, which is Sydney, and I still right to the end of the film when she's going in and she leaves that door open. I was still hoping there was, please, just one more twist. But I'll give it a 3. And I think that's generous. But I think there's aspects of it that deserve it. Because, 1, it's not perfect. But it's one of those you can put on in the background. You're going to go get some snacks during the film. But you're going to sit down with your friends. You're going to have a few drinks. You're going to grab some popcorn. And you're going to look at those sequences that are over the top and crazy and insane and make no sense. Roman, the throwing of the knife and the hilt hitting him in the head. It's just insane. How can you not have fun with that? I mean, is it a great film? No. Is it fun? Yeah, it's kind of fun.
Yeah, I mean, they basically turned it into a comedy. At the end of the day,
comedy's better in this one. I'd say.
Yeah. Tony, what do you think? Out of 5 stars.
I was originally thinking 3 out of 5. I'll say 3 Courtney Cox bangs out of 5. or I should say Gail Weathers bangs out of 5.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So it's definitely one that you don't hate, but one that you probably won't rewatch anytime soon.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, there you go. That's Scream 3. For better or worse, the movie we thought would end the franchise, and then we could all put Ghostface to bed. But luckily, he had a couple more surprises in store for us, and we're gonna be talking Scream 4 next. I hope you'll join us for that one. Time to close the theater down. I've got to say farewell to my pals Tony and Aaron. Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching at home. It's been an honor and a pleasure to have you here in the theater. Remember, you always have a place to sit in Master Chaos Theater. Obviously, in your home. I assume you have seats as well, but here always you have a seat, and we can chat movies here. In the comments down below, let me know what you thought of Scream 3 or the entire franchise. I'm curious. We're taking a poll. When we get to part 4, we'll do a ranking. When we get to the ones that are already out, we'll do that then. But you can let me know your favorite now. For now, I'm going to grab the curtain, pull it across the silver screen here, and bid you adieu. I love you very much. Take care of yourselves. And until we meet again, bidding you adieu.